We've got multiple reports coming out right now. We have leaked audio from Donald Trump's 2024 fundraiser where he says the unthinkable about what he said he would do to Russia. He said this to Putin, apparently. And we also have reporting from CNN now that is saying that Pete Hegseth did not approve, did not get the authorization to pause weapon shipments to Ukraine. And this is great. This is great. I'm glad they're throwing this drunk under the bus, but I'm also just glad that it seems as though Donald Trump has changed his position on Ukraine. Not great though that he didn't know whether or not who paused the Ukraine shipments.
We're getting along with China very well.
Mr. President, you have sent more weapons to Ukraine, as you said last night. Last week, the Pentagon paused some shipments of weapons to Ukraine. Did you approve of that pause?
We wanted to put defensive weapons because Putin is not treating human beings right. He's killing too many people. So we're sending some defensive weapons to Ukraine, and I've approved that.
So who ordered the pause last week?
I don't know. What did you tell me?
I think that's
Well, CNN did tell us. It turns out it was Pete Hegseth. And before we get to that story, I also want to show you here that Trump really is potentially over Putin. I don't want to look too far into this stuff because, Donald Trump is a serial liar. But here he is saying that Putin, he's kind of just getting it, that Putin's not great.
But that was a war that should have never happened, and a lot of people are dying. And it should end. And I don't know. We get a lot of bullshit thrown at us by Putin. For you want to know the truth. He's very nice all the time, but it turns out to be meaningless.
Do you want to sanction him? Lindsey Graham has a sanctions bill on Russia. Do you want him to move
I'm looking at it. Yeah, no, I'm looking. The Senate is passed a very, very tough sanctions. But yeah, I'm looking at it.
And you'd sign that?
It's an.
He's so stupid. I mean, he's so stupid. He is very nice, but it turns out to be meaningless. Yeah, no shit, Donald Trump. Welcome to reality. Now, Donald Trump also said that that he was going to send weapons to Ukraine. Look at Pete Hegseth realize that, maybe Ukraine's the good guys.
Are you planning to send more weapons to Ukraine?
We're going to send some more weapons. We have to. They have to be able to defend themselves. They're getting hit very hard now. They're getting hit.
He's like, oh my God, I messed up. Now we also have the CIA director literally smiling and letting out a sigh of relief because he's realizing that Donald Trump, for now, is on Ukraine's side.
Are you planning to send more weapons to Ukraine?
We're going to send some more weapons. We have to. They have to be able to defend themselves. They're getting hit very hard now. They're getting hit very hard. We're going to have to send more weapons. Your defensive weapons.
I mean, that's honestly how I feel. It's just appalling what's happened to that country, and the fact that we have let them hanging out to dry. And I'm at least grateful that they're going to be getting a little bit of help. And then we also have here this story, and then we'll get into this this leaked audio that is very, very worrying. But here, so Pete Hegseth did not inform the White House before he authorized pause on weapons shipments. Sources say, I'm going to let you make a decision who the sources are. But here's the story. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth did not inform the White House before he authorized a pause in weapon shipments to Ukraine last week, according to 5 sources familiar with the matter, setting off a scramble inside the administration to understand why the halt was implemented and to explain to Congress and the Ukrainian government. It goes on. It first happened in February, and the decision was quickly reversed. 3 of the sources said, I'm telling you, these sources want Pete out. That is the whole point of all of this. They are starting the motion to get Pete out of here. And it's mirroring what happened on Monday night when Trump announced that the weapons shipments would continue despite Hegseth signing off on the pause. Interestingly and worryingly, our General and Secretary of State Marco Rubio had no idea about this, neither did national security advisors. No one knew about this pause. And here's a quote from Caroline Leavitt, who says, to ensure all support going to all foreign nations aligns with Americans' interests, and added that Trump, quote, has made the decision to continue providing defensive weapons to Ukraine to help stop the killing and the brutal war, blah, 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 blah. Now, she also said that the president has full confidence in the Secretary of Defense. You let me know in the comments if you think Pete Hegseth is actually going to last here. Now, interestingly about this, sources say later on that the White House actually decided that they were going to provide cover for Pete Hegseth. After the White House learned about the pause, White House officials told Hegseth and DOD that they would temporarily provide cover for the decision, two sources said, but the White House emphasized that the Pentagon had to explain the move to Congress, which also had not been informed of the pause beforehand. It's insane that the defense secretary just unilaterally made this decision when Congress and the president get to decide whether or not these weapons go to Ukraine. The Pentagon's decision to suspend the shipments of weapons, including Patriot interceptor missiles and artillery ammunition, came after Trump asked Hegseth last month during their trip to the NATO summit to provide him with an assessment of U.S. stockpiles because he was worried, I guess, with Iran and Israel bombing each other. He wanted to make sure that there was enough for U.S. troops. But drunk Pete Hegseth took that and said, oh, we got to pause all shipments. And let's get into this leaked audio. Here is Donald Trump in a 2024 fundraiser revealing shocking insights about what he said to Putin.
To Putin, I said, if you go in to Ukraine, we're going to bomb the shit out of Moscow. I'm telling you, I have no choice. The public wants it. The public. So he goes like, I don't believe you. He said, no way, and I said, way. And then he goes like...
He said, no way, and I said, way. It's beyond parody. I actually don't believe this. I don't think I believe this. But let's keep going.
I don't believe you, but the truth is he believed me 10%. And I told you this, he believed me 10%. Then I'm with President Xi of China, but I said the same thing to them. I said, if you go into Taiwan, I'm going to bomb the shit out of Beijing. He thought I was crazy. He said, Beijing, you're going to bomb Beijing. I said, I have no choice. I got to bomb them. We're going to bomb Beijing. And he didn't believe either, except 10%. And 10% is all you need. In fact, 5% would have been okay too. And we never had a problem. We would have never had a problem.
Insane. Now, the reporters... Now, separately, this is leaked audio that apparently reporters have been holding on to for part of their book. Okay, I'm not promoting the book. I'm not promoting the reporters because I actually think reporters, when they get stuff like this, should report it. They shouldn't just hold on to it until the last minute so they can make a buck off of us. That's how I feel about that. Now, secondly, I think maybe, I don't know, if these stories are true, they most likely are not, but if they are true, do you think that Xi or Putin have any doubt that Donald Trump will go back on any threat he makes after this tariff debacle? So I don't frankly think any of this is going to work again, if it's even true. But to me, it just sounds like a guy gloating and trying to impress his friends, his billionaire buddies. That's what it sounds like to me. And let me just remind you too that Donald Trump has repeatedly insisted that the Ukraine war would not have happened under his watch. And he even said that he would end the Russia-Ukraine war in a day. But so far has been unsuccessful. The only thing he's succeeded at, honestly, is hiring drunks who don't know what they're doing. So congrats on that, Donald Trump. If you like this video, please hit like on the video. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time. Bye.